Alright, hey guys, we're back here for another episode of the garden show. Today I'm going to show you the new seedling identifications of the green beans, and we're going to talk about a little bit about pest control. Now there are different types of garden pests, some being insects, but today what we're going to focus on are basically part of the rodent family is the rabbit. Also things like groundhogs can also dig in your garden, but today I'm going to show you what happened to our cabbages. You can see here how they broke off, gnawed upon. There you go. Isn't that lovely? That's what the rabbits have done. So today we're going to focus on different methods of trying to keep them out of your garden. First, what you can do, the one thing we've started to do is we've started to put forks, just cheap plastic forks, around the garden and marking your rows. Now those should keep them out, because if they tramp on them it'll hurt. Or this is another method we're going to do. Some fencing. Now, depending on how much you want to spend, or how much time you want to put into it, or how far you want to go, you can get any type of fencing, really, provided that it's tall enough to keep them from jumping over it. We've decided to go with this kind. Okay, so now the first thing you probably want to decide is how far away from your garden or the beginning of your garden rows do you want to start placing this. Well, that would depend upon how close your rows are to the edge of your garden. Because if you put this right up next to your rows and the stuff comes up, they could maybe just reach through there on the edge and eat your stuff anyway. So if you choose to do this before you plant your garden, then you can maybe have plan your rows accordingly. So, that being said, these are just little spikes here, and you just kind of push them down into the ground. We'll start over here at the corner. Now, as you can see, depending on which end you have, one end has these hooks, and the other end is just solid like that. So what you want to do if you're putting out more than one of these, obviously, is you'll want to have this end where the hooks are, and then what that'll do is you just slide it into the hooks, then it'll link them together. as you can also see, since they come linked up so many feet as it is, when you first get them, they'll also bend and make it easy to go around corners. And as always, we'll clean up after we're done with everything. Now when you're putting your fence up, you'll also want to consider how tall your fence is. If you get a taller fence, you'll want to make sure you have a gate of some sort so you can still get into the garden. Or what you could do is you could just hook a part of it where you choose to put your entryway. Hook a part of it around just with like twine or bend it up a little bit to hook it around, and then you can just unbend it and walk through there when you need to. this kind of fence wouldn't be good for your vining plants because they're not gonna have enough room to climb and grow up over. You know, those usually, you know, require something a little bit taller, but this should work to deter any kind of pest that you might have. Other things that you can do that I've done in the past is you can take and you can plant marigolds every so many feet around your whole garden. Those should also deter rabbits. They've worked for previous gardens, but here, last year we tried them and they weren't too successful, so that's why we're trying something a little different. And as you can see, we have a little bit extra fence. I guess you could, if you choose to get this kind of fence, you could just take this apart and just connect those two together. Or you could just bring it on across and leave it all here if you choose. I mean, that's entirely up to you as far as that's concerned. Now for the forks, I'm going to go ahead and put some of these in around our rows, just in case. As you can see, they were there around the edge of the garden. So you can go ahead and do that. Careful not to trample on any of our newly formed plants. And you just kind of go ahead and stick them where like that. Okay. There are some other methods. You can also take just simple old pie tins and poke a hole in them and use some twine or thread and string through it, and then wrap them around your row markers or whatever you choose. We have one of those over here I can show you. And here we are. You just have it just like that. And you can take it on one of your row markers. Now you want to be careful, don't make the string so long that the pie tins drag the ground, because part of how this works is the shiny and the noise. Now that should help deter groundhogs. So, well, let me go ahead and show you the beginnings of the green beans. Right, here we are. You can just see them. They're still real little yet, but this is what they're going to look like. They're just coming up. There's one that's up a little bit further. This is a weed. Now the seed packets will give you a general idea of when your seeds should germinate. I wouldn't start to panic, however, if they don't come up exactly when the seed packets say, because you know it's not. Sometimes they're a little bit later, sometimes they're a little bit earlier. You know, I mean, it shouldn't take no 20 days or nothing, but it may not be exactly the 7 to 10 days that the seed packets say. Depends on your climate and the rain, how much you water them. If you choose to use fertilizers and stuff like that, really affects when this stuff will come up for you. Went ahead and got ourselves some more cabbages to go ahead and plant, since the rabbits decimated our other ones. So we'll go ahead and get started on that now. There they look about the same as the other ones did. Now these also should come with a little tag. It'll have planting instructions on the back for you in case there's any kind of confusion about that. Let's see, it tells you the maturity time, and it tells you about how big the heads of them should get. It tells you how the spacing. I just usually put them, if I plant plants like this, I just usually put them by the plants or by the rows. That way it'll give you an idea of what's supposed to be there. Again, with the maturity and stuff, it's the same as how they put on there when the seeds should germinate. It just really depends. Sometimes it's exactly when they say, and sometimes it's, it could be a couple days later. Okay, so now we've got those planted once again. Well, you can always expect, I don't know, a few setbacks now and again. It's not always going to be perfect, but once everything comes up, and you're enjoying your harvest, it'll be worth it once everything matures. Okay, so I hope you join us next time when we talk more about some more seedling identification and watering, maybe some more ideas for some pest controls, and a lot more. Okay, see ya. Bye.